Hi, my name is Angie, and today we are going to be talking about how open concept office plans affect productivity. If you just Google this certain sentence, you will find lots of negative articles talking about how open concept office plans aren't helpful to workers and they decrease productivity and decrease collaboration. But today I'm going to argue against that because in the creative field, like what we are all in, there's lots of collaborative work that goes into spaces. There's lots of collaborative thinking, collaborative projects where we're working with other artists and where we are trying to get our name out there, so we have to collaborate with other people. So in contrast to what normal offices look like, many offices are filled with neutral colored walls, cubicles, and non-stimulating spaces, causing creativity and teamwork to be unsuccessful in the office space. But with an open concept office, workers can communicate openly and freely, making creative collaboration much more successful. So my first point that I'm covering is that open concept offices increase collaboration. This can be seen in many companies, maybe not what your typical company would look like, maybe not a salesman company where they're driven by each individual salesman working on their own, but where people have to work in groups. Like, for instance, if you're in a marketing office and you're working in a team and you're trying to make the product that you're marketing the #1 bestseller, or if it's like a New York bestseller book and you're trying to come up with a cover and you're trying to figure out what that would look like, what colors would stimulate the eye, and how to talk about it with other people and how to sell it, you would have to work in an open concept office, because if you didn't, you would all be on different pages and nobody would know what anyone else was talking about, and it would just be a whole mess. And that kind of brings me into the actual design of the open concept office. So if you walk into an office that is open concept, but is just very neutral colors and there's nothing to stimulate the eye or there's nothing interesting about the space, then productivity and collaboration are going to go down because your employees won't even want to be there themselves, so they're not going to want to work with each other. But if you use design tactics like creating little brainstorm areas where people can go and take a minute away from their desk or the place that they're working and can just take a minute to breathe and maybe grab a coffee or a juice or whatever it is that's interesting about your space, they can rework their brains. They can allow themselves to take a break away from their work and come back feeling refreshed and creatively driven. And so if you have a well-designed space, that will affect the productivity, which also leads me into, it depends on what company you are designing for. If you're designing for a company with mainly employees over the age of 50 who have always worked in cubicles or who have always worked on their own, in their own desk, assigned seating, assigned computers, this probably won't really work for that company. You have to think about the age range of the company, who's working there, why they're working there, what their company is, and if it will affect them well. Because personally, I know that my father owns a business and my father's 50 years old and all of his employees have always worked in their own office and done what they need to do. So if we took his business and put it in a crazy open concept office, they would not function as well as they needed to versus if they had their own offices. So just some real life examples of what of some open concept offices that run effectively and efficiently. One of the first ones that I have is the Etsy headquarters. This headquarters is based in Brooklyn, New York. And Etsy, if you don't know what they are an online company that sells handmade items, and a lot of the artists work together and collaborate on items so that they can make these beautiful pieces of art. And as you can see in this picture, they just have tables with lots of seating areas so that people can pick where they want to work, which is another bonus of open concept offices. You don't have an assigned desk or an assigned space because maybe you walk in that day and the janitor didn't do his job and it smells gross and you just don't want to work there, so you can pick wherever you want to work. And that has there are studies that show that that is helpful to stimulate humans in the working aspect. And then the other headquarters that I have is the Autodesk headquarters. Autodesk is a company that owns all of the major software programs. Like they own Revit, AutoCAD, Photoshop, InDesign, all of that stuff. So we as artists use that a lot. And their headquarters are all based off of the saying, bring what's unnatural to life. And they use all of their own programs to model this floor plan, and really brought that to life. They have this crazy staircase that seems like it's impossible to make, and they have all these open concept places to work and brainstorm and think, and that allows their workers to just really be able to do what they need to do. So even though most offices are filled with neutral colored walls and cubicles, and they get work done, it doesn't necessarily mean it's the best way to do that. So in closing, I would just like to make you think about maybe reconsidering that open concept offices are not the worst idea, and that they can actually help you. Thank you.